Hey folks, SC Closer here. Friends call me Vic. It's another episode of Vic's Sea Stories and Tall Tales. Today's story is going to be called Engineering Alley. This is a very interesting story. There's a couple points to it. When we were in Korea, I believe it was Pohang, Korea. That was the first stop we made in Korea. We pulled into I think it was like some large steel company. He said it was like one of the largest steel companies in the world at the time. This would have been like in 1987. And the ship pulled in there. We tied up to the pier, and it was some kind of, I guess they had some kind of trade secrets there or something, or maybe it was the fact that they weren't too far from the DMZ. They had a high security on that steel plant, or on the grounds out there. Of course, I didn't see where they were making steel, but I don't know what the deal was out there. So what they did was they would run a bus. They had shuttle buses, and the shuttle buses would come up to the pier where the ship was, and they'd pick us up, and then they'd run us down to the gate, and then we would jump off the bus and walk out the gate. And then when we came back, we would wait at the gate for the shuttle bus, and then it would take us back. So this was Pohang, Korea. All right, so when we were ready to leave the ship, we were walking across the quarterdeck, and as we come up there on the quarterdeck, they had these maps up there on the table, and they had this little sign or something up there, and it said, "Engineering Alley, off limits to all U.S. military personnel. Take the map." They literally gave us a map to find Engineering Alley and told us it was off limits to all U.S. military personnel. Don't go there, but here's a map how to get there. So we took the map, and we got on the little, walked down, got on the bus, and we're sitting there on the bus, we're looking at these maps. And you give sailors a map to how to get somewhere and tell us it's off limits, and you don't tell us why, we're curious. We're likely to go there. Why they gave us the map, I have no idea. So we got this map out, and we're like, well, it seemed like it was way on the other side of town somewhere. So we started going around, and we were doing things and we were making our way that way. And the time of year we were over there was getting closer to wintertime, so it got dark kind of early. And we found Engineering Alley. And we were in Engineering Alley, and we're looking around, and we're like, well, what's the big deal about Engineering Alley? Because it didn't look like much of anything. It was just a street, and had a bunch of, little businesses and stuff, looked more like small mom and pop type things, and not real commercial or nothing. And anyway, we're walking around, looking around, trying to figure out what it is about this place that we're not supposed to see. And it's, as we're walking around and everything, the sun's going down, it's getting darker, and it's getting darker. And it started getting pretty dark. And we couldn't see. And we noticed something about Engineering Alley. They didn't have any street lights in Engineering Alley. So it's kind of dark on the streets. And we noticed something else. We didn't see any lights in Engineering Alley. It was pretty dark. And that's when we found out Engineering Alley doesn't have electricity. So it really wasn't safe to be in Engineering Alley after dark. So now we're like, oh hell, we got to get out of here. But we can't see. So we walk out in the road, and we're trying to follow the road. We could tell we're walking out in the street, and it got dark. I mean, it was dark. It was overcast. There was no stars. There was no moon. It was dark. And we could see like light in the distance. And that was back into a part of town that had electricity. So we started heading towards that. And as we're walking through Engineering Alley, we can hear people talking in Korea all around us, but we couldn't see them. And we could hear people moving around and doing stuff around us, but we couldn't see them. The only thing we could see is people standing around smoking cigarettes, and we'd see the little orange glow from the cigarettes, and we could tell there's somebody over here smoking a cigarette. I mean, we could have just walked right into somebody. We wouldn't even seen them unless they were smoking a cigarette. So as we started making our way through there, we must have been a good half mile into this place. We finally, the light got a little more, and then we could see a little bit, and we finally got a way out of there. And we're like, man, they could have told us, if they would have just said, hey, don't go to Engineering Alley. There's no electricity. You don't need to be there after nighttime, and there's not much there anyway. If they'd have told us that, then we wouldn't have went. But man, you tell a sailor it's off limits for you to go here. Here's a map. That's where we're going to go.